Well, I'm joined today by Adam Graver, the marketing manager at Hunters. Thanks very much for joining us, Adam, as you are a manic and very busy man and running a
Yeah,
big marketing output, big
yeah,
marketing activity, very small team. So
yeah.
you punch above your weight. Would that be right to say that?
Very small team, but we've got a lot of connected agencies that I lean on very heavily. But yeah, all fun and games, and newly head of marketing, so even more weight
Ah,
on my shoulders than before.
congratulations. Well, you deserve it. And anyone listening to this video, knowing how difficult last year was, Adam's team, well, the minute that lockdown kind of came around, Adam's team shrunk quite dramatically,
Yeah,
and he managed to keep everything running and do an extremely good job with smaller resources, but
yeah,
very kind of clever use of suppliers and marketing strategy. So, I mean, great work.
yeah. Well, thank you.
Um, so, so you're the marketing head of marketing for
Yeah,
Hunters. Really big group, got over 200 offices. So you've got to satisfy your office network as part of your remit,
yeah,
and then you've also got a very busy head office marketing team. So you've got kind of lots of balls to juggle there. So how does we obviously use Dataloft Inform, and you're one of our most fantastic subscribers. So how does a product like Dataloft Inform help you guys both from an office perspective and then kind of at head office level?
yeah. I mean, it absolutely is twofold. I think we've been using you for probably over a year now,
Yeah.
which is great. It was a decision we made to provide it to our whole network. We didn't want a buy-in model because we just thought this is a brilliant product the second we came across it. I suppose for us at head office, we use it predominantly on the kind of social media side, of course, to get assets out on our central accounts, whether it's our LinkedIn, our Facebook, our email. So, for example, yesterday we sent external email. We generally lead with a Dataloft piece, which is quite good. It helps me. It means I don't have to write a piece of content, which is nice because you guys can only write as the bullet points.
And
So
do you
we
think
always,
people are more receptive to reading it and opening it up because it's something that's not sales, it's more sort of informational and
I think so, and it's data that it would take us a week to kind of probably find the data that's required. Whereas I can log in and know straight away in the editor's picks, there's going to be something useful to buyers, to tenants, to landlords, or to vendors, whichever one we're targeting with that newsletter. And it just allows us to shape a piece rather than going in with, especially at the moment, COVID move with us. It's just a nice, this is what's happening. This is what's really happening in the market rather than speculation or tabloid press. It's actual data that's ratified. It's got sources all over it, which is great. So for me, it just allows me to be a bit more honest with customers rather than try to respond to what's supposedly going on in the market. Um,
yeah.
it forms a big part of my training. So I run regular training sessions with the network, and generally the biggest question we get asked is, where can we find content? Where can we find things to post that aren't just our brand campaign? We obviously put a lot of effort into our brand, but I don't want to see that on our accounts every single day. And kind of training our network on how to use them several tabs. It's not just, a lot of our branches will just log in and use the infographics on the front, which are brilliant. But that's not where the power of Dataloft is for me. It's in all the different tabs, whether it's local amenity data, which I think is brilliant, especially for buyers and tenants. It's in even the national news. I have offices ring me and say, Adam, it's brilliant that we've got Dataloft, because someone asked me what's happening in the market. I've got no idea. I have a quick login and you've got a monthly update in there, and they can just reel off what's going on in the economy, what's going on in the property market, what's going on in prime markets. It's really useful for.
It should be incredibly hard to get a hold of that yourself.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
spending hours Googling, trying to find the information.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have an R&D department or anything like that at Hunters. We don't have a insights team, so we kind of see you as our insights team from afar, but very, very connected with our offices. I know we've increased the number of users logging in on a regular basis, which I think you guys have seen, and you can obviously see all our logins. I've certainly seen a huge uplift in 2021 in the usage of it on social media, which is great. And I think I could talk about social media for half an hour if you wanted me to, as a powerful tool and a really good channel to get your stuff out. But I think the challenge for us now in 2021 is getting people using the downloadable content, which is fab. And you've obviously just integrated with another one of our preferred suppliers, Spectre, which I think, again, it's all about adding value to the customer at the end of the day. It makes us look good, yes, and it's anything that makes us look like informed agents is good. But the customer feedback we get when branches use it and when they offer the market report, it's just brilliant. By adding the hunter's spin to the Dataloft content, we can really elevate it. So any of the infographics we also design ourselves in-house, so they've got two options. So rather than just putting it out once, they can do it twice, which is really, really useful to the agents, because they like putting a hunter's spin on it, of course, and our design is quite different to Dataloft's. So yeah, we use it a lot. Our offices primarily, like I said, use it social media. So when we're talking about the 200 plus offices, they use it largely there. But where you talk about Facebook, talk about Instagram, where we've seen a lot of usages on Google. So I encourage Google posts a hell of a lot now. The difference is social media. I see that as kind of the digital equivalent of canvassing. You never know what part of the sales cycle someone's in. You might just hit someone at the right time. If someone's searching for estate agents in York and they come across a really useful piece before they've even clicked through to a website, that's where we can start adding value before they've even chosen hunters. So using it on Google has been a really, really powerful change and a really good thing that we've used. The editors pick for specifically. You can be a bit more hard hitting with the content on Google, because that's people active in the market. They want to know what's going on.
I mean, it's really difficult for an agent to know what to say to clients without being quite predictable in a sense. So I mean, it's really good to hear that, because I mean, hopefully what the content does is give you an excuse to get in touch with them. And actually, even if they're not even vaguely thinking about moving, then if you're the agent that's kind of just sharing some really interesting insights on the market, whether it's sending out a market report or emails or whatever, then hopefully it's planting that seed in their mind for the future when they're ready to move.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And absolutely putting out there, I've never been an estate agent on the ground, so I don't tend to know the challenges that they face day to day. But what we were really keen to do, and you mentioned lockdown 1, which feels an absolute age ago as we record this in February 21. We switched to a virtual valuation model pretty quickly, kind of in March, which we were quite reluctant to do, but we didn't want to be in people's houses. And that virtual valuation appointment, rather than just being like this, a chat over FaceTime or Zoom, we provided a market report as standard in that in that valuation. So as soon as they booked it in, they were sent via email the market report for their area, and then we had the call to talk through what was going on. And
that was a Dataloft Inform report that went.
Yeah, exactly that.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So the offices would, and we've got it in our terms and conditions on the virtual valuation. So the offices had to do it, which was great. So we used Home Track as well, which is very different. So that's estimated price for your property, coupled with this is what's going on in your area, as well as then a 15-minute call with an agent. And that's why we saw our valuations absolutely rocket last year. We had a huge increase year on year versus 2019, which I don't think many agents would have seen. And that wasn't just June, July. We kept that going throughout April and May with these virtual ones. I absolutely believe the Inform reports added a lot of value to the customer. It just gave them something to read after the 20-minute call as well, because they are really insightful.
Yeah, no, I mean, because the trick is to get their attention and then to keep their attention. So something like having a market report that you can send out once a month just to keep that kind of ticking, that nurture bit going is really important. And we've been really excited looking at the, because you've got a lot of Inform content on your website. So on the home page, there's an interactive kind of widget, we call it, where you can type in your postcode anywhere and you get a local insights page, which is fed through from our API, we call it. And then each office has their own kind of local insights page as well. And we've been tracking the hits on that, and it's something like an average of about 30,000 hits coming through from that. So it's really important that your website is kind of alive and offering really up-to-date information, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I know we have a couple of supplementary brands, Mullocks and Country Properties, as well as Hunters. And I know the Country Properties guys, who are very good at that nurturing, the automation and using tools, they send campaigns direct to that insights page quite deliberately. It's kind of it's that hook really before you try and do the sales pitch. It just gives you almost like a pre-sales. The market's actually quite buoyant in your area, and they can see that. And I think what I like about it is because it's live data, it is honest. So rather than as an agent for you to have to say actually transactions are down or prices are down, you let the data do that for you, and then you can overcome any objections rather than have to do the negative yourself. So I think offices quite like that, and just because prices are down, that isn't a negative thing for me. It's more it allows you to talk about reductions. It allows you to talk about going on at a more reasonable price, whereas you get a lot of agents, obviously, who will always try and overprice. We're not here to talk about that, but it just gives us a little bit more weight in the pricing and to go, do you know what? Yes, I know your neighbour did sell for 40 grand more 2 years ago, but our data shows that prices are down 8% in this particular market. So it almost does the dirty work for us.
Yeah, it's fascinating to hear that, because that's actually really hard for a lot of people to publish stats that might not always be rosy.
Yep.
But a lot of our subscribers love it because it tells it as it is. And actually, Spectre actually recently, I think the stat is something like 60. There's more than 60% of vendors selling their houses who actually go with the second agent. Yep. And that is generally because the first agent might be overpricing. So why not try and be in that percentage of people who you're the first agent and you're the person that sells that house. And I think if you've got tools that can help you kind of have that conversation in an informed way, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and it absolutely is. Inform is a great platform that works as part of a really strong marketing mix. Like, if we used it in isolation, we'd struggle. If we use it in tandem with the Rightmove data we get, in tandem with our data, like, it really just creates just a more holistic picture of what's going on in individual towns' markets. Certainly for me, as head of marketing sat in York, I have no clue what's going on in the Worcester market or the Wolverhampton market, but all I have to do is log in, and within 5 minutes I can get a really good picture of exactly what's going on, which allows me to advise our independent business owners on what to do in terms of their marketing strategy. It's a really, I think it's a great tool, which is a reason why it was a no-brainer to keep on with you for another year, and long may it continue.
That's great, and I agree with you. It's about a marketing mix, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, an important part of that is being able to share local insights, but to build your brand, you want to be right across various marketing channels. So we're hopefully excited to find some print solutions for you as well, with the flyers and obviously the Spectre integration, and working on email as well, so that you can pull informed data across and kind of keep that nurturing program going as well. But
I think that's why, speaking to you on a regular basis, and Grant and your team, you guys host weekly, I think, webinars for our network, which is brilliant to see that engagement. I think the numbers are still pretty strong. So again, rather than hearing it from me and that they must be bored to death of my face last year of webinars, it's nice to see a supplier going above and beyond like that to provide it. The power is in the platform, yes, but the people behind it, it's really, you don't normally see the people behind tech platforms. So I think that's been really useful to have them regular training webinars just to keep it ticking. So I know certainly when I'm training it, you feel like you've gone so overkill and you've dumped so much information on these people in 25 minutes. You need to keep refreshing it, because you could spend half an hour on each tab in the platform going through how to use it. You absolutely could. So no, it's really great.
Oh, thanks for saying that. Yeah, I mean, there's a big, I suppose, when you think prop tech, you think it's it's all done as a kind of automated scenario, but actually behind Inform, there's a team of incredible market analysts and economists who are looking at the data and insights all the time. So it's nice for us to have that face-to-face kind of interaction with the officers to show that there's more than just a bit of tech there.